right, everybody. Welcome to an edition of Status Pro Baseball. This was actually a request from Terry P., who is going to be having some surgery done today, which is July the 6th. I'm actually playing this game on July the 1st, but I'm posting it July the 6th. And it's going to be a request. He had talked about something with the Cardinals. So I had the 82 Status Pro season in my inventory. So he asked, what about a what-if World Series? What if the California Angels had beaten the Brewers? Then we would have had a St. Louis and California World Series. And so that's what we're going to do, is a what-if scenario. And if you wonder about the music in the beginning, the reason for that is we're going to have a pitching matchup of brother against brother. Ken Forsch against Bob Forsch. So sit back and relax. Get ready for Status Pro Baseball. We'll go to the starting lineups and get ready for first draw. I would say first pitch, but it's first draw with the fast action cards right after this. All right. As I said, it's brother against brother, Ken Forsch and Bob Forsch. And as brothers would have it, they both have a starter rating of 14. So that's where the pawns are for each of them, is on 14. We'll go through the starting lineup. First for the visiting St. Louis Cardinals. Since it is an American League home team, that we will be using the DH. Leading off and playing left field is Lonnie Smith. Batting second, playing second base, is Tommy Herr. Hitting third in center field is Willie McGee. Batting cleanup at first base is Keith Hernandez. Hitting fifth in right field is George Hendrick. Hitting sixth at third base is Ken Oberkfell. Batting seventh, the DH, Steve Braun. Batting eighth is catching Darrell Porter. And batting ninth is the Wizard of Oz, Ozzie Smith. Those are the Cardinals. For the California Angels, leading off in left field is Brian Downing. Batting second at first base is Rod Carew. Hitting third in center field is Fred Lynn. Batting cleanup is DH Don Baylor. Hitting fifth is right fielder Reggie Jackson. Hitting sixth is the third baseman Doug DeCinces. Batting seventh and second base Bobby Grich. Batting eighth and catching is Bob Boone. And batting ninth, the shortstop Tim Foley. All right, we are ready to go. I'm going to eschew all the how-tos because there's been a lot of videos out there already for that. So to get this expedited, we'll just go ahead and get started. So Lonnie Smith is up to the plate first, and Ken Forsch is the starting pitcher for the Angels. He is a PB 2-7, so keep that in mind. So our first draw for Lonnie Smith is a 6, which means we're under the pitcher, Ken Forsch. And the random number for Ken Forsch is a 52. If we look at Forsch's 52, his out range is a 36 to 88, so that is going to be an out. And if we look at Lonnie Smith, he is a right normal. So we'll check our out sequence for right normal. And it's everybody grounding to the catcher, but there is an asterisk, so we do need to check the catcher Bob Boone for an error. He is an E rating of 1, so this error would have to be a 1 for him to commit an error. It is a none, so he made the play. It's a simple 2-3 ground out. Little dribbler in front of the plate. One away, and that'll bring up Tommy Herr, the second baseman. And the flip is a 12, so we're under Tommy Herr. Tommy Herr gets the control, and it's a 14. How about that? Tommy Herr, a 14. That's going to be a single to left field since it fell in this 12 to 15 category. And since it's off the batter's card, we do flip to check for an error, but there is none. So it's simply a single for Tommy Herr. One out single, and that will move Forsch down to a 13. Now, Tommy Herr has a speed rating of A and an OBR of A, and the Cardinals of Whitey Herzog were known for their running. And a little motorcycle gang just rode down the street. It's not really a gang, it's just 4 guys riding, but they made some noise there. So since he's an A in both the categories, we're going to try to steal. And you can't really see it with the way I got the camera right now, but there's a stolen base chart right up here. And I will read the result off of the card. But we're going to flip and get one random number and see if the steal is successful. The random number is an 84. That might be bad. We'll see. 84 says runner cannot get jump, hold base, and continue normal play. That's if it's a 73 or higher, so Herr couldn't get the jump. Forsch was holding him on tight, so we move on to Willie McGee, the number 3 hitter. And the flip is a 3, which is under Forsch. And the result on the random number is a 66. That's well in the out range. McGee is, they've got him down, this is a misprint. They've got him down as a right normal. McGee is obviously a switch hitter, so that was a misprint on his card. He is a switch hitter, so in this case he's batting left normal. But it doesn't matter, they're all fly out to right, and there's 2 away. So that was a misprint there, because Willie McGee was definitely a switch hitter. All right, Keith Hernandez, the next batter to face Forsch. It's an 8, so we're under Hernandez. And Hernandez gets a 26. That could be good for Keith Hernandez, a 26. And that's going to be a double to left field. All right, a double to left field, and now we've got to, first of all, check for an error. Make sure there's no error there. It's a 9 to 10. The left fielder is not in that range. So Hernandez has just doubled. And with 2 outs, Tommy Herr is an OBR of A. And so he gets the advantage of also having 2 outs. The ball went to left field, which is Brian Downing territory. He's a T3. So if we look at the chart here, it's kind of hard to see it. I'll bring it over a little bit here. There is a first to home on double to any outfield. OBR A and a T3 is an 11 through a 42. But when there's 2 outs, you add 20, so it's now 11 to 62. So basically, we need to check and see if this is an 11. If this is higher than 62, he will be out. If the next random number is under 62 or less, he'll be safe. So he's trying to score. Herr is from first base on the double. The throw from Downing, and it's a 72. So Downing got him. Downing was able to corral that and cut down Herr at the plate. So we will call this. We'll say he probably had an assist from one of the infielders, I would assume. If it's a double, it probably went to the wall, so he's not going to make that straight to the plate. So to make logical sense, we'll call it a 7-5. We'll call it a 7-6-2 because I think the shortstop's usually the cutoff man. And that's going to end the inning with no score. So Keith Hernandez got the double, but and we need to move Forsch down 1 because of that double. So he finishes the inning with a 12. All right, we go to the bottom of the first. And let's see if Downing, who's going to lead things off, see if his great defensive play leads to better offense. Bob Forsch, the pitcher for the Cardinals, is a PB26. So keep that in mind. The first flip for Downing is going to be an 8. So we're under Downing. And the random number is a 16. That's good for the hitter. Low numbers. 16 is a base hit to center. Let's see if there's any error on Willie McGee. It's a 1 to 10. How about that? So McGee does make an error. McGee is an E3, and that falls in this category. So now we need to see what kind of error it is. So let's see here. Error on outfielder. We're going to check the not this card, but the next card for error on outfielder and see what kind of error it is. So the flip for a error on an outfielder is a 4. So if we go to error 4, error number 4 chart, and we use the chart with the bases empty because that's the situation, and there is an error 4. Outfielder drops ball, cannot find it. Batter takes extra base, and runner scores. Well, the batter's just going to take the extra base. So that means we've got a single by Downing, and an error on McGee allows him to go to second. So a single plus an E8, and we'll drop Forsch down 1 for the hit, not for the error. The error is not his fault, so that you don't penalize him for that. But now Downing's at second with nobody out, and Rod Carew, the batter. Carew. The flip's a 9, so we're definitely under Carew. And the next result is a 12. How about that? So a 12, that's a single to left field. The question is, do they want to try to score Downing? They are not. With nobody out, they're not going to take any chances. They're just going to move Downing over to third base. Bob Forsch will drop to a 12. Runners at the corners, nobody out. And the Angels might have something going here. Here's Fred Lynn. Fred Lynn, it's a clutch defensive check. Let's see who the clutch defensive check is on. The clutch defensive check is a center fielder. So Willie McGee, he just made the error, gets a clutch defensive check. And Willie McGee is a CD1. So we're going to get a random number and check the CD chart. And let's see what happens on that. So the random number is a 38. CD1 and a 38. So a CD1 and a 38 for outfielders. Line out, lead runner, doubled off base, double play. So an 11 through 42 on a CD1 means it's a line out double play. And so that's what's happening is Lynn lines out to McGee for out number 1, and then McGee catches Downing, unsure of himself whether to tag up or what, but Downing was a little confused, didn't get back to the bag in time, and he is out 8-5 for a double play. So definitely unusual circumstances there, but that certainly gets the rally kind of killed there. But there's still 2 outs, and there's still a batter at the plate in Don Baylor, so he could have something to say about it. And it's a 10, so we're off of Baylor's card. Remember that Carew is still at first base. So Baylor on a 10 on his own card, it's an 86, which is definitely in the out range. He's a right-handed power hitter. Let's see what kind of out we're talking about. It's a pop out to third. So that's going to end the bottom of the first for the Angels. Missed opportunity indeed. And after 1 complete, we are scoreless. And now we start the bottom of the second with George Hendrick, the 5th place hitter. He'll be facing the other Forsch, Ken Forsch, who is a PB27. The flip is an 11, so we're under Mr. Hendrick. And the flip is an 88, so that's going to be an out. Right-handed power hitter is Mr. Hendrick. And a right-handed power hitter lines it right back to Ken Forsch for the out, L1. So there's 1 away for Ken Oberkfell. Ken Oberkfell steps to the plate. This is a 3, so we're under Ken Forsch. And the result is a 66, which is well in the out range. Oberkfell's left-handed normal batter. Left-handed normal batter, all batters ground out to short, but there is an asterisk, so we do check the error, see if Foley made one. He is an E1, and he does not. So Foley makes the play. 6-3, and there's 2 away for the DH Steve Braun. The DH Steve Braun, we got a 9, which is under Braun. I'm trying to flip these cards so they show on camera, but sometimes I get them too close, the focus goes in and out. So hopefully it's not too much of a problem. We are under Braun, and we've got a 57. So a 57 on Braun's card, it's the first out number. So anything less than 57, he would have gotten on base most likely, except for the strikeout range. But the 57 does put him in the out range, and he is a left normal batter. Left normal batters ground to second, but there is the asterisk, so we check second baseman Bob Gritch for an error. He's an E1, and there is no error, so Bob Gritch made the play. And the Cardinals go quietly in the second, no score. We go to the bottom of the second, and it'll be Reggie Jackson, Mr. October, steps to the plate against Bob Forsch, who is a PB26. We get a 7, so that's under Reggie. So he gets control of the at-bat. So Reggie, a 53 for Reggie, and that's in the walk. I'm sorry, that's in the, well, this is really weird. There's a gap there. Something wrong with that card. I have a feeling that should be 32 to 57. That's got to be a misprint there. 32 to 57 is what I'm going with. I'm going with that's a misprint because you can't have a gap of 20-something numbers there. So that's logic would dictate that should be a 57 there. So the 53 is going to call that a strikeout. I didn't realize that card had a typo on it. Haven't played with these 82 cards in ages. So, well, that's what I'm going to go with, right or wrong. So I don't know what else to do with it. So here's the Sensei. And the flip's a 4, so we're under Bob Forsch. And it's a 12. All right, now, this is where the left-right splits come into play. Normally on a 12, that would be a base hit to left. But when it's a right-hander facing a right-hander, the 12 becomes a foul out to the catcher. That's one of the left-right checks in the game. In the basic game, that's the only left-right check, is the 11, 12, and then 87, 88 when there's right-handed batters involved. So the Sensei fouls out since Bob Forsch is a righty. Took away that hit. Here's Bob Gritch. That's a 5, so we're under Ken Forsch. I'm sorry, under Bob Forsch. I knew I'd get that mixed up. Bob Forsch, a 15. That's going to be a base hit for Bob Gritch. I'm sorry, we're under Forsch's card. 15 is going to be a base hit to left, and since we're under Forsch's card, there is no error check, but we will knock him down to an 11 on a 2-out single by Gritch. And that'll bring up the catcher, Bob Boone. So Boonie's up there. It's a 5, so we're under Forsch again. And it is a 27, so we'll check Bob Forsch's 27 rating, and that's a walk. Notice he didn't strike out many guys. He has no strikeouts on his card. So this is strictly going to be a walk. So they'll knock Bob Forsch down to a 10. And the Angels might have a 2-out rally going here. 2 on, 2 outs for the number 9 hitter, Tim Foley. And Forsch, it's a 7, so we're under Foley. That actually might help Forsch out. We'll see. It's a 65, so something that high is not going to matter. That's in the out range. Foley is a right normal batter. And a right normal batter will ground it to first. That means Keith Hernandez, but there is an asterisk. Hernandez is an E2. And there is no error there, so Hernandez takes it to the bag himself. And the Angels are gone in the second. So after 2 complete, we are still scoreless. And Darrell Porter steps to the plate. Number 8 hitter in the order against Ken Forsch, who is a PB27. That is a 9, so we're under Darrell Porter. And Darrell Porter's an 86. Now that's going to just miss out on the left-right check. If it had been an 87, that would have been a base hit. But an 86 leaves it in the out range, which Porter is a left-handed power hitter. So we check the left-handed power hitter. Everybody's going to ground to second. That's Bobby Grich. There is an asterisk. We'll check Grich for the error check. And there is none. So a simple 4-3 ground out. And Porter is retired, 1 away. Number 9 hitter, the Wizard of Oz, steps to the plate. Switch hitter. It's a 7, so we are under Ken Forsch because he's a PB 2-7. And Ken Forsch, a 73, is well in the out range. Ozzie Smith is a switch normal. And switch normals will ground to short with an asterisk. So we'll check Tim Foley to make sure he didn't boot this, and he did not. So one shortstop grounds to the other for out number 2. And that'll turn the lineup over back to the other Smith, Lonnie Smith. So Lonnie Smith steps up. It's a 10. So, this thing getting a little blurry on me. It's a 10. So a 10 is definitely under Lonnie Smith. And Lonnie Smith gets a 36. A 36. Lonnie Smith, a 36 on his own card is a triple. A 2-out triple, and we have to check for an error since it's off the batter card. There is none, but Lonnie Smith hits a 2-out triple. So the Cardinals threaten a little bit. We'll move Forsch down to an 11, but he's got to pitch around that triple. Here's Tommy Herr. Herr did single his first time up. So he does this time. It's a Z, so we got an unusual play. Anytime you get a PB of Z, it is an unusual play, and in the old version of the game, the original version of the game, you got this blue Z chart, and what happens is if it's a 1 through 44, you got an unusual play. If it's 41 to 78, you consult the fielding unusual play, and if it's 81 to 88, you consult the unusual injuries. So we'll see what the result is on this random number, and the random number is a 75. So on a 75, that high number, we're going to be into the fielding, the Z fielding play. So we're over here for the, let's see, that's the injury. Let's see where the Z fielding is. Z fielding chart. So we're going to get another random number and see what happens. So we roll, or not roll, but we flip for a new number. It is a 65. So a 65 says difficult fly to center, E0 to E2 in center field, batters out, runners hold. E3 to E10 in center, it's a double to the wall with the runner scoring. So the center fielder in this case is Fred Lynn. And if we look at Fred Lynn's card, Fred Lynn is an E1. So he's only an E1, so he will make that play as the unusual thing said. If it's an E0 to E2, then the batter's out. So Fred Lynn, difficult fly ball, but he was able to go get it, and that saved a run with Smith being on third base. And so the triple goes for naught, and that's going to do it for the Cardinals here in the top of the third. Still no score. Now we move on to Brian Downing. He is going to lead things off. Singled and then was doubled off third his first time up. It's a 5. That's under Bob Forsch. And now we get a 67, which is definitely in the out range. Brian Downing's a right-handed power hitter. Right-handed power hitters will pop it up to short. Ozzie Smith is under it. There is an asterisk, so we need to check for an error. Ozzie Smith's an E2, and there is no error, so Ozzie Smith makes the play, 1 away. And that brings up Rod Carew. Carew singled his first time up. It's an 11, so we're definitely under Carew. And the next check is an 87. So the 87, that's the lefty-righty splits. Carew's a lefty, so normally 87 would have been an out. But against a right-handed pitcher, the 87 turns into a single. So Rod Carew with a one-out single, thanks to that left-right check, will move Bob Forsch down to a 9. And that's 2 instances now where the left-right splits have come into play. So here's Fred Lynn, who made that nice catch in the top of the inning. It's a 3, so we're under Bob Forsch. And we get a 54, and for Bob Forsch, that's in the out range. Lynn's a left-handed power hitter, looking for a double play if he can get it. And it's a ground out to third. That GX5 means it's a fielder's choice. But the third baseman, Oberkfell, has to be checked for an error before we can do the fielder's choice. There is no error. It's a 9-10, but Oberkfell is nowhere near that. So it's a 5-4 fielder's choice. And Lynn replaces Carew as the base runner. And I'll just show it to you on the chart. GX5, force out, third to second, batter safe at first. That's what I'm going by on the thing. But when you play the game enough, you kind of memorize some of these results. All right, here's Don Baylor with 2 outs and a runner at first. Baylor steps to the plate. And it's a 9, which is under Baylor. So Baylor gets control. It's a 76, which means that's going to be an out. Baylor is a right-handed power hitter. And the right-handed power hitter will ground to first. That's Hernandez, but we have to check for an error. There was none, and the inning is over. So we are scoreless after 3. And as you can see here, this stack, the used stack is now much higher than the unused portion. So we're going to have to pause the video, and I'll shuffle and flip the cards over, and we'll be ready to continue. Or I can just do it while and not pause the video. So let me do that, and we'll do some shuffling here. I'll shuffle on camera. How about that? Just so you can see that they are in fact being shuffled. And I'll just ramble a little bit while we're going here. Scoreless through 3 innings. We start the 4th, and both pitchers decent shape so far. Ken Forsch has still got an 11 on his reduction rating, and Bob Forsch still has a 9. So the fact they haven't given up any runs and only a couple of hits has certainly helped them out. All right, now we're ready to go with the top of the 4th. It'll be me and Willie McGee. He will step up, and Ken Forsch, remember, is a 2.7 PB rating. It's a 7, so we're under Ken Forsch. Maybe if I put the cards back like this, they won't blur the camera as much. We'll see. It's a 27, so a 27 under Ken Forsch. 27 is going to be a strikeout. So Ken Forsch down on gets McGee down on strikes. First strikeout for Ken Forsch, and there's one away. Brings up Keith Hernandez. The flip is a 6, so we're under Ken Forsch, and the flip is a 14. That's going to be a base hit. Ken Forsch, a 14, is a single to left. Since it's off the pitcher card, there is no error check, but we will move Ken Forsch down to a 10. All right, that now brings up George Hendrick. It's a 4, which is still under Ken Forsch. And it is a 83. That's definitely an out. And Hendrick is an RP, right-handed power hitter. And the right-handed power hitter will ground to the pitcher. There's a GX1, which is a fielder's choice, but there is an asterisk, so we do need to check Forsch for an error. And Forsch, hopefully he doesn't come up that way. He's an E10, so if it's anything like on the error thing, he's going to commit one. But fortunately for him, it's a none. So it's a fielder's choice. We'll call it 1-6 at second base to get Hernandez. And Hendrick will reach. Now with 2 outs, Hendrick's at first base, and Ken Oberkfell, the batter. Flip is a 5, which is under Ken Forsch. And the next flip is a 36. So Ken Forsch, a 36. First card in the out range. Almost a wild pitch, but not quite. So it is an out. Oberkfell is a left normal batter, and that's a pop-up to the shortstop, Foley. And the Cardinals go quietly, for the most part, here in the 4th. So nothing doing there. We go to the bottom of the 4th, still no score. And Reggie Jackson will lead things off. Jackson, a 4, that's under Bob Forsch. And the random number is a 45. And that's well within the out range because Bob Forsch's out range starts at 35. So it's an out. Reggie's a left-handed power hitter. Left-handed power hitter will ground it to Ozzie Smith at short, but there is the asterisk to check. Ozzie Smith, no errors. So Ozzie makes the play. One away for Doug DeSensei, third baseman. The flip is a 5, so that's under Bob Forsch. And it's a 55, that's definitely in the out range. DeSensei is a right-handed power hitter, and he will pop it up to the third baseman, Obergfell, for out number 2. Or you could call it foul out. It's either or, I guess. It really doesn't matter. Here's Bobby Grich. It's a clutch defense, but there's nobody on base, and you really have to have the definition of clutch on that is when someone is on base. Only use these when men are on base. So we ignore that, and we're going to reboot. And Grich in 8. So we're under Grich's card. And it's a 48 for Bobby Grich, and that's a walk. So Grich will draw a 2-out walk. Since we're in July, I guess we won't call him the Grich that stole Christmas. But it did steal a walk from Bob Forsch, and we move him down to an 8. And that will bring up Bob Boone, the catcher. Boone, a 7. That's under Bob Forsch. I'm sorry, it's under Boone because Bob Forsch only goes a PB26. So we are under Boone's card. And it's a 53 for Booney. And that's definitely an out. He's a right normal batter. Right normal batter's ground to short with the asterisk. So we're going to check Ozzie Smith again. Ozzie Smith, none. He makes the play. And since it's an A, that means they throw the runner out. They don't get the force play. So technically it's just a 6-3 ground out to end the inning. And we've completed 4 here in California. And it's no score. So now we got Steve Braun, the batter, the DH. He's 0 for 1. Braun, it's a 12, so we're definitely under Braun. And it is a 36 for Steve Braun. And a 36 is a strikeout. So he has nothing on triple, nothing on home runs. It goes straight to strikeout. So strikeout of Steve Braun. That's strikeout number 2 for Forsch, for Ken Forsch. Here's Darryl Porter, catcher. It's clutch defense. Nobody's on base, so we ignore that. It's a 10, so we're under Darryl Porter. He's in charge, and it's a 22. So Darryl Porter, a 22, is a triple. How about that? He must have hit at least 1 or 2 triples throughout the year because they gave him a triple on his card, and he found it. A 22 is a 1-out triple for Darryl Porter. And we do need to check for an error since it came off the batter card. And there is none. So he's at third base. We'll move Ken Forsch down to a 9. And now the infield will have to come in as Ozzie Smith is at the plate. So the infield is in. It's a 6, which is under Ken Forsch. And the result is a 78, which is an out. So switch normal. Switch normal. Grounder G4 asterisk. Check for the error since there was an asterisk there. 7 to 10, but the second baseman, in this case Grich, is only an E1. Now we need to resolve the infield in play. So we go to the chart that talks about a man on third. Man on third. And we look at that result. Man on third chart, which is right here, man on third. And the result was a play of G4. So G4 with the infield in. Consult defensive option play chart. Defensive option play chart. All right, now that's a little bit different. I don't remember having to look at that in quite some time. Oh, here it is, defensive option play chart. Kind of hard to see it. I'll move these pawns out of the way temporarily. You can see the defensive option play chart. Goes by the runner. The offense can decide whether to send the runner or not based on his run rating. So, see, I believe that was a 9 and 8 if I remember correctly. So the runner on third base, Darryl Porter, he is an OBR of C. So an OBR C, for a runner to be safe, he would have to get an 11 through a 35. Anything above 35, he would be out. So they don't like those odds. It's going to be a simple ground ball to second. Runner will hold, and it'll be up to Lonnie Smith to bring him in. They didn't think the gamble was worth it. All right, here's Lonnie Smith, especially since Lonnie Smith just tripled his last time up. So they're depending on him to bring home the run. The flip is a 7, so we're under Ken Forsch because he is a PB27. And the result off Ken Forsch is a 77, which is an out. Lonnie Smith's a right normal batter. Right normal will ground out to third. That's to Sensei, but there is an asterisk, so we check for the error. There is none, so to Sensei makes the play, and unfortunately Darryl Porter is left stranded at third base. So we go to the bottom of the 5th, still no score, and that'll bring up Tim Foley. So Tim Foley, number 9 hitter, will lead off against Bob Forsch. It's a 5, so we're under Bob Forsch. And the card result is a 12. So normally that would be a base hit, but again, lefty-righty splits come into play. That 12 is now a foul out to the catcher. So Tim Foley, much like the Sensei earlier, fouls out on that left-right check, and there's one away for Brian Downing. Downing, a 7, which is under Downing's card. And we get a 76, so that's definitely in the out range. He's a right-handed power hitter. Right-handed power hitter is a ground ball back to the mound. We do have to check for an error. Bob Forsch is an E4. So we'll see if there's anything on here that shows an E4 that shows none. So Bob Forsch makes an easy 1-3 put out for out number 2. Brings up Rod Carew. And where's the offense in this game? They show signs, but they don't come through. It's a 7, so that's under Carew because Bob Forsch is only a 2-6. So Carew gets the charge here. It's a 44. So Carew, 44, he'll draw a 2-out walk. So a 2-out walk for Rod Carew. And maybe in his younger days he would try to steal, but he's only a C steal rating, so don't know if they want to take that chance. Porter is a B throwing rating. You know what? They might try to get him in scoring position. Well, since it was a walk, we need to move Bob Forsch down to a 7. And we're going to try a steal. We're going to try a steal Gene Mauch. Gene Mauch, little ball. He's going to try to get him into scoring position for Fred Lynn. So we're going to try a steal and see what happens. Results of 67. So on a 67, it says runner picked off by the pitcher. How about that? So it didn't matter what his steal rating was. He gets picked off. So Carew got fooled by the move by Forsch, and he's out 1-3 to end the inning. So that gamble did not pay off. We go to the 6th. It's still scoreless, and both pitchers still, let's see, Ken Forsch is at a 9, Bob Forsch is at a 7, so they're still rolling along with a shutout for each one. Here's Tom Herr to lead things off. Tommy Herr, he's 1 for 2. It's a 6, so that's under Ken Forsch. And the result is a 82, which is definitely an out. Herr is a switch normal. Switch normal will pop it up to DeSensei for out number 1. So both the Forsches are rolling along. The Forsch is with them, with both of them. So here's Willie McGee. It's a 5, and McGee is under Ken Forsch since it was a 5. Ken Forsch a 34, and Ken Forsch a 34 shows as a pass ball, but nobody's on base. So that just simply means we start all over again. And Willie McGee, an 11. This time we're under McGee's card. And the result's a 78. So McGee is a switch normal, not a right normal. So when we check the out for switch normal, it is a pop out to the shortstop. So McGee pops it up to Foley for out number 2. Brings up Keith Hernandez. Flip is a 5, which is under Ken Forsch. And the flip is a 13. That's a base hit. So Keith Hernandez, a 13, is a base hit to left. Knocks him down to an 8. No error check since it's off the pitcher card. But it's a 2-out single for Hernandez. Brings up George Hendrick. So George Hendrick, a 10. That's under Hendrick. Hendrick can do some damage, possibly. 47, but he's going to strike out. So he found his strikeouts, and that's going to do it for the Cardinals here in the top of the 6th. We go to the bottom of the 6th, still zeros on the scoreboard. And Fred Lynn will lead off against Bob Forsch. Clutch defense, nobody's on base, so we ignore that. It's an 8, so we're under Fred Lynn. And Fred Lynn with an 11. How about that? An 11 is going to be an infield hit. Infield hit. We don't check for an error because there's nobody to say who fielded it. So it's just going to be an infield hit for Fred Lynn. And that'll knock Bob Forsch down to a 6. Here's Don Baylor. Don Baylor. Baylor a 9, so we're under Baylor. And that's a 73. That's definitely an out. So he's a right-handed power hitter. Right-handed power hitter. And he's going to line it right to Bob Forsch for the out. So there's one away. And that'll bring up Reggie. See if Reggie can come through. It's a 7, so it's off his card. Reggie trying to do something here. It's an 82. He won't be able to do it. 82 is in the out range. He's a left-handed power hitter. And he will ground it to first with an asterisk. That's a chance for a double play, actually. G3 with an asterisk. That is going to be Keith Hernandez. We'll make sure he didn't make an error. He did not because he's only an E2. And this says 6 to 10. But when you go to the out chart with a runner at first and a G3, it says double play grounder, first base to shortstop, back to first. However, an OBR A or B beats the throw. Reggie Jackson is an OBR C, so he gets doubled up. So that he was not fast enough to beat the return throw. It is a 3-6-3 double play turned by two outstanding fielders, Smith and Hernandez. So we completed 6 innings and haven't settled anything. We are still scoreless. And it's back to shuffling time. We flip the cards over and shuffle them and get ready for the last 3 innings. Ken Forsch is still at an 8 on his rating, and Bob Forsch is still on a 6 on his rating. And we've done pretty good. We've played 6 innings and we're only 37 minutes in, so that's pretty good. If we can keep this pace up and get this done in less than an hour, hopefully, which is usually a good benchmark to finish up a video on. All right, we are ready to go. Ken Forsch back on the bump after his warm-up tosses, and Ken Oberkfell will lead things off against Ken Forsch. It's a 3, so we're under Forsch, and Forsch a 41. So 41 is in the out range because his out range begins at 36, so it's definitely an out. Left normal. Left normal, all outs go back to the pitcher, but we need to check for an error, and Ken Forsch is an E10. But fortunately for him, that's a none, so it's a simple ground out 1 to 3. Oberkfell is gone. Here's Steve Braun, DH. It's a 6, so we're still under Ken Forsch. And it is a 42. 42, that's in the out range. Braun's a left normal. Left normal grounds to second. That's Gritch, but there was an asterisk, so we check for an error. And there is none, so Gritch made the play 4 to 3. 2 down, and that'll bring up Darryl Porter, who had that unusual triple last time. It's a 7, so we're still under Ken Forsch because he's a PB27. So Forsch, a 73, that's an out. Porter's lefty power. Lefty power pops it up to the catcher Boone, and that's going to end the inning. So nothing doing. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. There will be no singing in case anyone was curious. I don't want to... that could be considered an FCC violation if I sing on here, I think. So we're going to eschew that and get going here with the bottom of the 7th. Keep things going while we're going, while they're rolling, so to speak. Here's Doug DeSensei. He will lead off against Bob Forsch. Clutch defense. Nobody's on base. So, again, we ignore that. Move on to a 10. That is DeSensei. You can't ignore that. So, DeSensei gets control. The flip is a 28. So, DeSensei at 28 is a double the opposite way to right field. We do need to check and see, make sure Hendrick did not make an error. He's an E2, but this only says 8 to 10. So, no error on the play, but it is a leadoff double for DeSensei. And that will move Bob Forsch to a 5. So now, Bobby Gritch is a BB sacrifice bunter. So they may be looking to get a sacrifice going here. So they're going to try to drop one down. There is a sacrifice chart right here based on the bunter's rating. So we flip one random number and check against the sacrifice BB rating. The flip is a 35. So as I look up here on 35, batter out, third to first, runners advance. So it's a good sacrifice. 5-4, we'll call it. And that will move to Sensei up to third base, and now the Cardinals will have to play the infield in. They have no choice. And Bob Boone's the batter. Boone against Forsch. It's a 5, so we're under Bob Forsch. Forsch, a 17. That's a base hit. 17 off of Forsch is a base hit to center field, and that's Willie McGee, who is an arm rating of 5, throw rating of 5. So you don't know. Well, DeCente was already on third, so that kind of is a moot point, isn't it? So that's why you did the sacrifice to get that run home. So Bob Boone breaks up the scoreless tie with a base hit. That will score Mr. DeCente. So we will take Bob Forsch 1 for the hit, 1 for the run, drops him to a 3. And we need to check and make sure. No, it was off the pitcher card, so we did not need to check for an error. So it was off the pitcher card. But now the Angels take a 1-0 lead. Here's Tim Foley, and the Cardinal bullpen starting to get some activity. It is a 8, which is off of Foley, and it's a 81. That's definitely an out. Foley's a right normal. Right normal, pop it up to second. So he pops it up to Tommy Herr. 2 down. Back to the top of the order, and Brian Downing. Downing an 8. That's under Downing. And the next flip is a 41. So Downing, a 41, is a walk. So Downing will draw a 2-out walk. Moves Boone to second. So runners at first and second. Forsch is down to a 2 now. And with Rod Carew coming up, lefty, they're going to make a call to the bullpen. So that's going to do it for Bob Forsch. And I'm not going to take the time to do his totals right now. I may do them at the end. But right now we're going to go to a call to the bullpen for the Cardinals for a left-handed reliever. And the left-handed reliever, they've got a couple of choices here. Actually, about 3 choices that I can see. Maybe 4. 4 different choices for relief pitchers. They're going to go with the veteran, Jim Cott, the lefty. So Jim Cott is a PB 2.6. His relief rating is a 9. But he is a PB 2-6. That's the thing to keep in mind against Rod Carew. So we'll check and see. It's a PB 2.6, the same as Bob Forsch. It's a 10, so we're under Carew. So Carew, a 22 for Carew, is still going to be a base hit to center field. So it's a base hit to center for Carew. Now the question is, can Bob Boone score from second base? Well, Bob Boone is an OBRD, and McGee in center has a T5. So that would be 11 through a 16 on the chart. You do get an extra 20 for 2 outs, so it'd be 11 to 36. But do you really think he can score an 11 through 36? Probably not. And with Fred Lynn coming up, they may go ahead and just hold everybody right there. So the bases are loaded with 2 outs. We'll move down Cott to an 8. And he's got to deal with Fred Lynn, another lefty-on-lefty matchup. It's a 7, so we're under Fred Lynn. Bases loaded and 2 outs. Fred Lynn, an 84, that's going to be an out, left-handed power hitter. And it's a ground ball to second, so that's handled by Herr. But there is an asterisk, so we check for an error. And Herr did not make an error, so the good play was made. And they get out of any further damage. But the Angels do break through with a run. And after 7 complete, it is the Angels 1 and the Cardinals nothing. Top of the 8th, Ozzie Smith steps to the plate. Ken Forsch still going strong. It's a 9, so that's under Ozzie. And Ozzie, a 56 under Ozzie, is an out. He's a switch hitter. Switch normal is a fly to center, so he hits a fly ball out to Fred Lynn for out number 1. And the Cardinal bullpen is loosening. They do have Doug Baer, the right-hander. Doug Baer, the righty, is in the bullpen, and he would be coming in actually to pitch the 8th for the Cardinals, as Cott did his job and got the lefties. So Doug Baer in the bottom of the inning will be coming up. Ozzie Smith made the out, so we move on to Lonnie Smith. And it's a 10, so we're under Lonnie Smith. And Lonnie Smith, a 23. So Lonnie Smith, a base hit to right field. We will check for an error. There was none, but it's a single for Lonnie Smith. We move Forsch down to a 7. And now Lonnie Smith, definitely a threat to run. He's got a speed rating of A and an OBR rating of A, so he's going to attempt to steal. So we'll flip and get a random number for his steal attempt. It's a 47, so on the steal chart, 47 says any runner rated SPA steals. Well, he's rated SPA, so that's a stolen base for Lonnie Smith. He is now in scoring position. You don't knock off a point for Forsch for that. Stolen bases, I don't believe, count on the reduction. I'll double check it real quick, but I don't think it does. Say here about reduction, where is it? It's got to give a list of things for the reduction here, and I don't think the stolen base is a part of that. I don't see anything on here off the top of my head, but I don't believe that a stolen base counts against the pitcher thing. If it does, I apologize, but I don't believe that it does. So I'm going to go ahead and say it does not. I'm just going from memory here. I don't think it does. All right, so Tommy Herr steps to the plate, 1 out, and the swift Lonnie Smith in scoring position. It's a 4, so we're under Ken Forsch. And Tommy Herr, 73, that's an out, switch normal. Switch normal says it's a fly ball to right field. Now, is there a chance for Lonnie Smith to move to third? Let's see here, runner on second, a fly ball to right. Runner holds OBR A or B runner to third, so there you go. That will move Lonnie Smith to third base on that fly ball. So he can score on any kind of error or infield hit or whatnot. So that could come into play. But now there's Willie McGee. It's up to Willie McGee to bring him home. It's a 3, so we're under Ken Forsch. It's a 54, so Ken Forsch, that's an out. Willie McGee's a switch normal hitter. Switch normal is a pop up to third, and that's going to end the inning. So Ken Forsch pitches around the runner at third with 2 outs, and that's going to end the top of the 8th. Now we go to the bottom of the 8th. Doug Bayer, he's a 2-8. Doug Bayer's a 2-8. 2-8 for Doug Bayer, so he will be in. He's a relief rating of 6, and he will be in to face Don Baylor. Start things off. So Don Baylor against Bayer. Baylor against Bayer, B against B. It's a 7, so we're under Doug Bayer because he's a PB 2-8. And it's a 17, so that's going to be a base hit as Doug Bayer, a 17, is a single to center. So he will drop to a 5. Don Baylor with a leadoff single. And Don Baylor is a C runner, so we're going to get a pinch runner. Since he is the DH, they're going to go to the bench and go get a better runner. And let's see who they've got on the bench that can run. They're going to go with, they don't have a whole lot, believe me. Actually, the speed of Baylor is faster than anybody on the bench because they're all D's and E's on the bench. Wilfong does have an OBR B, which is above a C. So that's what we're going to go with. They're going to, because OBR talks about running the bases. So Rob Wilfong with his OBR of B is going to pinch run for Baylor, who has an OBR of C, and he will take over as the DH if the game continues. So Wilfong will pinch run for Baylor, and we'll make that change. Wilfong pinch running for Baylor. All right, that brings up Reggie. So Reggie is aboard, or up to the plate. It's a 9, so we're under Reggie. And Reggie, a 12, that's going to be good for the Angels. That's a base hit to left, opposite field. And that puts runners at first and second with nobody out. And Bayer's down to a 4, so Bayer may be in trouble. Bruce Sutter is loosening. They might have to go to him, even though it's not a save situation, just to keep the game close. We'll see if Bayer can hold on here. Here's to Sensei. It's a 7, so we're under Bayer. And it's an 85, so an 85 is definitely an out. Right-handed power hitter. They'd like to get a double play if they could, but it's a pop out to short. Ozzie Smith will check for an error. There was none, so infield fly rule is to Sensei pops it up to Ozzie. 1 away for Bobby Grich. Bobby Grich. And 8, so we're under Bayer still. And it's an 16, so that's a base hit. That is a base hit to center field off of Doug Bear. Base hit to center, but Willie McGee is a T5, don't forget. So even though the pinch runner Wilfong is in, he's only an OBRC, and with less than 2 outs, an OBRC and a T5 is an 11 through a 22 chance to score. So they're going to hold him up. The bases will now be loaded, and Bear is going to come out of there. He will be relieved, and it's a little unconventional, but they're going to bring in Bruce Sutter, because if you don't bring him in now, he'll probably just languish on the bench. So they're going to bring Sutter in to try to thwart this rally and keep it a one-run game. It's literally a save situation of sorts. So here's Bob Boone against Sutter, bases loaded and 1 out, as Sutter tries to keep things right where they are. The random number, Sutter is a 2-7, by the way. It's a PB4, so that's under Sutter. And the result is a 74, and as we look at Sutter's card, Sutter 74 is definitely in the out range. So we'll check Boone. He is a right normal. They would love a double play here. It's a GX5, though, so that's going to be a fielder's choice. That's going to let the runner score, because the infield was at double play depth, and there's no error on the play. But we'll show the chart, which talks about bases loaded. Bases loaded, GX5, with the infield in, runner on third is out at home. Everybody else is safe, but here they were hoping for the double play. But it's a force out, third to second, batter safe, runner on second and third advance. So it's a fielder's choice that will score the run, make it a 2-0 ball game, as the pinch runner Wilfong will score. Give an RBI to Boone, and Gritch is out 5-4 for out number 2. So runners are at the corners now, with 2 outs for Tim Foley, and will reduce Sutter by 1 for allowing the run to score. All right, now Foley is up. Not that it really matters. He's still got a RR of 6, so he's not in any danger. All right, Foley, a 10, so we're under Foley. And we get an 86. That's definitely an out. Foley's a right normal. Right normal pops it up to third. That's Oberkfell over there. We'll check for an error. There is none, so Oberkfell makes the play. And the inning's over, but the Angels pick up an insurance run thanks to that fielder's choice ground out with the bases loaded. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. Ken Forsch still going strong. They do have their closer, Luis Sanchez, ready to go in the bullpen. And you wonder whether they should bring him in, because Ken Forsch is going so strong. But they're going to make the prudent move. That's what they have a closer for. They're going to bring in Luis Sanchez, the closer, get a fresh arm in there. So Luis Sanchez is going to replace Ken Forsch and try and nail this thing down. He'll be starting out facing Keith Hernandez. He's got Hernandez, Hendrick, and Oberkfell. And Sanchez is an 8 on his reliever rating. He's a PB27. So here we go for the top of the 9th, Keith Hernandez. It's a 5, so we're under Sanchez. And we get a 47. Sanchez, 47, is a pass ball, so we're going to reboot, as that was no effect. We get an 8. An 8, and that's under Hernandez. And Hernandez a 71, so that's definitely an out range. He's a left normal batter. So we'll ground it to first for Carew. We'll make sure Carew did not boot this, and he did not. So Carew takes it to bag himself, 1 away. And the Angels 2 outs away from getting the victory. Here's George Hendrick. Hendrick, a 2. It's definitely under Sanchez. And it's an 18, so that's a base hit. Sanchez, an 18, is a base hit to center. We'll move him down to a 7. And the tying run now is at the plate in Ken Oberkfell. So Oberkfell is up. The tying run. It's 10, so we're under Oberkfell. As the Cardinals try to rally, it's a 34. And Oberkfell, a 34, is a double to center field. Double to center for Oberkfell. And we'll move down Sanchez to a 6, because they're going to hold the runners down 2. There's no benefit in sending the runner at all. No sense taking any chances whatsoever. And now runners are at second and third with only 1 out. The infield is back. They'll give up the run to get the out. And Steve Braun, the DH, is in the game. And now maybe Gene Mauch is questioning this move to Sanchez instead of letting Forsch finish the game. But Hindsight's always 20/20. Here's the result for Braun. It's an 11, so we're under Braun's card. And it's a 23. 23 for Braun. 23 is a base hit to right field. And now we definitely have to check runner advancement. We know that Hendrick will score from third. The question is, what about Oberkfell? Oberkfell is an OBRB, which is not too bad. The hit was to right field, which is Reggie Jackson territory. And Reggie Jackson has a 3 throwing rating. So we check the single advancement from second. T3 and a B is 11 through 52. Do they want to take the chance? 11 through a 52 would tie the game. Otherwise, you'd have 1 out and runners at the corners with Darrell Porter at the plate. So you know what? They're going to take the chance. They don't. You can't depend on what these cards are going to do next. So they're going to take the chance at 11 through a 52, and he will make it as a B runner against a T3. So Reggie Jackson fields it, throws to the plate. Here comes Oberkfell, and he is out. 65 gunned him down. So Reggie throws him out at the plate. Call it 9-2. And Braun with that base hit. So let's do some calculations. Sanchez did give up the hit and a run, so it knocks him down to a 4. But now the runner let's see if it talks about the trailing runner moving up. I don't see anything about that. Let's see. When a play is made on a runner who's advancing to second and third, the batter automatically takes second base if he's an OBR A or B. So the batter was Braun. He is not an OBR. If he was an OBR A or B, he would have advanced to second, but since he's not, he did not do that. So gamble there, probably shouldn't have done it, but it seemed like the right thing to do at the time, but just didn't work out. But Darrell Porter is up. They still have 1 more out to go. Here's the flip against Sanchez, and it's a 7, so we're under Sanchez. And Porter, 46 against Sanchez, and 46 against Sanchez is actually going to be a walk. So we'll move him down to a 3, and that puts runners at first and second with 2 outs. And now Ozzie Smith steps to the plate. But do they pinch hit for Ozzie Smith? They do have some decent hitters on the bench. You have David Green, you have Tito Landrum, Dane Orge, all kinds of guys on the bench. So they're going to pinch hit for Ozzie. And they're going to go with, looks like they are going to go with Dane Orge. Dane Orge, his base hits go up to 37, whereas Ozzie Smith's base hits only goes to 32. So they're hoping for a little bit better opportunity here with Dane Orge. So Dane Orge is going to pinch hit for Ozzie in a big situation, and it looks like Don Ossie is loosening the bullpen for the Angels, but for right now it's on Sanchez, their closer, to try to put it away. Facing Dane Orge. Here we go. Sanchez. It's an 8, so we're under Orge. Orge, a 51, but that's going to be an out. Left normal. Left normal is a fly ball to deep right field. It would have been a sac fly with a runner at third and less than 2 outs, but with runners at first and second and already 2 outs, that's going to end the ball game as Reggie Jackson corrals that last fly ball. And the Angels hold on for a 2-1 victory over the Cardinals as Ken Forsch best Bob Forsch in this What If World Series that was requested by Terry P. So since we're just about an hour-long video, I'm going to go ahead and abruptly end this so I can do it in less than an hour. Terry, I hope you enjoyed the game. I hope everybody else enjoyed the game. It is Statis Pro. So if you can find a copy on eBay, go for it. It's a great game. It brings back memories from childhood. So final score once again, it is the Angels 2, the Cardinals 1. And from Anaheim, until next time, I will see you down the road.